For Bobby Womack, audacity was at an all-time high. He showed up to his friend Sam Cooke's funeral, driving his car, wearing one of his best suits, with his widow, who he ended up marrying 3 months later, and then he cheated on her with her own daughter. Bobby Womack was a menace, and his story is even crazier than that. Let's unpack this. To understand the magnitude of what he did, I'll have to give you a small backstory of their history. In the 1950s, Bobby started his singing career in his family's gospel group, the Womack Brothers. He first met Cooke when his dad arranged for the group to open up for his band, the Soul Stirrers. Cooke started a record company in 1961 called SAR Records and signed the group. They released a few singles, including Couldn't Hear Nobody Pray, but all the singles failed to chart. Cooke realized the group's sound wasn't working and convinced them to switch from gospel to secular music to broaden their reach. After he changed the group's name to the Valentinos, they recorded the single Looking for a Love, which was a pop rendition of Couldn't Hear Nobody Pray. The song peaked at 72 on Billboard's Hot 100 and sold over 2 million copies. Cooke had a closer relationship with Bobby in the group and considered him his protege. Unfortunately, their friendship was cut short when Cooke was killed in 1964 at the Hacienda Motel by the motel's manager. She claims she shot him in self-defense, but there's conflicting stories surrounding that, but that's for another video. Cooke had 2 funeral services, one in Chicago and one in LA. The first funeral was on December 18th at Tabernacle Baptist Church in Chicago. Over 200,000 people attended the service, including fans, family, and close friends like Muhammad Ali. The second one was on December 19th at Mount Sinai Baptist Church in Los Angeles. And that's the one where Bobby showed up with all the audacity. Since we're all caught up, let's get into this debauchery. On March 5th, a few months after Cooke's funeral, Bobby and Barbara got married at the Los Angeles courthouse. In his book, Bobby Womack, The Midnight Mover, he talks about how his new marriage led him to be disowned by his own family. Quote, "My brothers were reluctant to be around me. They knew the threats that were out there against me from marrying Barbara. They didn't know what to do, but without them, I was totally alone. All by myself, and because my mother and father had been against the marriage to Barbara, there was no family in my corner." In the book, he also talks about his issues with the Cooke family, who were completely against the marriage, especially his brother Charles, who told Bobby shortly after the wedding, quote, "Man, anyone else could have married Sam's wife, but you? Sam loved you, man. If you ever come to Chicago," the threat was left hanging in the air, but I knew what it meant. The issues with the Cooke family even got physical. In his book, he recounts the altercation between him and Charlie in Chicago. Quote, "I figured if Charlie was gonna do something, I wanted to get it over with and done. Barbara and I flew to Chicago. We checked into the Roberts Motel and I called Charlie. I told him, I'm here. We're in 2112 in the motel room. Barbara busied herself loading the bullets into the pistol. Barbara had a mean streak in her. Charlie showed up with his 2 brothers, David and LC. I opened the door and Charlie punched me. He beat me so bad my whole head swelled up like a melon. My teeth came through my lip. He beat me unconscious. He even broke my jaw. Barbara came out the bathroom screaming. She made a grab for the gun, pointed it, pulled the trigger, and it clicked. I had removed the bullets when she went to the bathroom before our guest arrived. Charlie and his brothers left. The cops were called. When they arrived and saw my condition, they said Charlie would do time. They arrested him that evening, but I declined to press charges. He was released, and Barbara and I went on with our lives." You would think after this whole us versus the world, Bonnie and Clyde ordeal they just went through, that it would actually keep them together. But that's not true, because Barbara actually ended up filing for divorce in 1970. And the reason why? Because Bobby was sleeping with her teenage daughter, Linda. Bobby was different, man. It's amazing, I'm the reason everybody fired up this evening. In his book, he recounted the incident where he and Linda, who was 17 at the time, were called in her room by Barbara. Quote, "I'm lying there kissing Linda and the light comes on. You dirty f***ing bastard. What are you doing with my daughter?" It was Barbara. She was so upset she didn't wait for an answer. She grabbed her gun and chased him out of their house. While he was running out, she shot him, but only grazed him in the head. They divorced in 1971 after 6 years of marriage and a son named Vincent. After the divorce, Bobby pursued a relationship with Linda, but she wasn't interested. Instead, she ended up with another man, Bobby's brother, Cecil Womack. She married, had 7 kids, and started a pretty successful duo called Womack and Womack with hits like Baby, I'm Scared of You. Hold up. So Linda, who is Sam and Barbara's daughter, married Bobby Womack's brother Cecil after having an affair with Bobby while he was still married to her mom, and had children with Cecil, which would make them... Okay, so I made a PowerPoint to make sense of how confusing this actual family is. And it's called the Web of Womack because, believe me, once you look at it, you'll see why I call it a web. So there's 5 different type of relationships in this web. There's siblings, parents, married, got cheated on, or just done dirty. So there's 11 different anchors in this web. There's Barbara Cooke, Vince Cooke, Linda Cooke, Sam Cooke, Mary Wells, Vince Womack, Bobby Womack, Curtis Womack, Cecil Womack, 7 kids, and 3 kids. Those will make more sense on the next slide. So I have to fill in a few blanks on here because I didn't talk about a couple of these people. But we're going to start with the top right. The top right is actually Vincent Cooke, who is the son of Barbara and Sam Cooke. He died at a very young age. I believe he drowned, if I'm not mistaken. Below him is actually Mary Wells, who is the first wife of Cecil Womack. Below her is actually Curtis Womack, who is the brother of Bobby and Cecil. But below him would be the 3 kids that Cecil has with Mary Wells, but I couldn't find a picture of all of them together, so I just put a blank there. To the left of Cecil is the 7 kids that he has with Linda, and above the 7 kids is actually Bobby Womack's son, Vincent Womack, who he has with Barbara. Now, I did not speak wrong on this. Yes, Bobby Womack and Barbara named their son Vincent after she lost her son with Sam that was called Vincent. It's getting out of hand at this point. But okay, so those are the people right here. Let's go to the next slide. So this slide is everyone who is siblings. As you can see, Linda Cooke, Vincent Womack, and Vincent Cooke are siblings because Linda, Vince, and Vince all share the same mother. Bobby, Cecil, and Curtis are siblings because they're all Womacks, you know. And the 7 kids and the 3 kids both share Cecil Womack as their father. So this slide actually shows who is the parents of everyone that's on the list. So as you can see, Barbara Cooke is the mother of Linda, Vincent, and Vincent. Sam Cooke is the father of Linda and Vince. Mary Wells is the mother of the 3 kids. And Cecil Womack is also the father of those 3 kids. But if you look at it, Cecil Womack is the father of the 7 kids with Linda Cooke, and Bobby Womack is the father of Vincent with Barbara. So this shows everyone who's been married. So Barbara married Sam and Bobby, and Cecil married Linda and Mary. And this is the cheated slide. So Bobby cheated with Linda while he was with Barbara, and apparently Mary cheated with Curtis while she was married to Cecil. This is the done dirty slide. How this works is that it's pretty much everybody who did everybody else dirty. So Mary and Curtis did Cecil dirty because they cheated while Mary was married to Cecil. Linda did Barbara dirty because she cheated with Bobby while they was married. Bobby did Barbara dirty because he cheated with her daughter while they was married. Bobby did Sam dirty because he married his wife 3 months after he died, and Barbara did Sam dirty because she married his friend 3 months after he died. And this is why I call it the Web of Womack. Look how much overlap this has with these 11 different boxes. This is preposterous. Now, even though Bobby has denied cheating with Barbara while Sam was alive, there are some people who believe that them moving on that fast means that they did something before that. Bobby actually released a song called I Wish He Didn't Trust Me that people think is geared towards Sam Cooke, even though he wrote it 20 years after he died. But it does shine a little light on maybe there might have been some infidelity. When I first started this video, I thought Bobby Womack was a menace. Now I know he is, but he's not alone. His whole family is a menace. From brothers sleeping with brothers' wives to underage daughters sleeping with mom's husband, getting shot in the head, protege sleeping with the mentor's wife after he dies, brothers beating up your brother's ops, to allegedly writing a diss track 20 years after somebody dies. But it was entertaining, I'll give him that, with the twists and turns and all that good stuff. But if you have been watching it this long, thank you very much, because this did take a lot of work to do, and I appreciate you viewing, and hopefully I could do something like this again. Thank you.